It was on a Friday night in 1953. I just came out of the Palace Theater to see the movie How to Marry a Millionaire with Lauren Bacall, Betty Grable, and Marilyn Monroe, of course. And I went to the Monarch, which is a gay bar in the East End, and I kept on raving about the movie, but most of all about Marilyn Monroe, which I happen to adore. And through the conversation, somebody at the table said, "Oh, La Monroe, shut your mouth." And the name, when I started to be in show business, that's the name that I used, Armand Monroe. That's how I made it, it's legal.
Lady never told me about that. Yes, Mommy dear. Yes, Mommy dear.
It's a picture of me in front of my grandmother's, no, not my grandma, my aunts. The picture talks for itself because if you notice that the position of my knee and where I'm holding the flower, I mean, I'm standing like if I had a pair of high heels on or something. It's not a little boy pose at all. It's more of a little girl pose. The first time that I went into drag, I was 13, and I went to my mother's trunks, put on her dress, and came on Peel Street. I slid down the stairway in a full-packed restaurant, and I asked the men to come to the Casbah with me. That's the way I was. You know, I was a little young, but fuck it. I've been in nightclub business for the past 30 years. I've been introducing travesties for the past 30 years.
How are you? Welcome. Shelby. What happened to Sam?
He's dead.
Oh, you should be. Hi, dear. How are you? Say hi. You're great.
Thank you.
Dear, don't do it. Bonsoir, ma chérie, ça va bien? Yeah.
Well, there's the professional female impersonator. There's the transvestite, which is a name commonly used for a female impersonator, but a transvestite is one that only dresses for the pleasure of dressing and not for show. They don't do shows. They like it in the privacy of their homes, or they like it to go out and shop or go to a bar, but they are not performers. Then you have the hookers, who dressed up in drag and women's attire for prostitution reasons. Those that dress up once a year for Halloween. Some people spend one entire year to prepare for that one night out in view of possibly winning first prize. No matter what it may be, it's just first prize idea. And they spend a lot of money and a lot of time and come up with very creative costumes. The original drag club in Montreal is PJ's. That is the first one that had drag shows. For many years, it was the only one. And then in the past few years, other clubs like the 1681, the Cleopatra, now a new one called L'Entrepôt. From the secretary to judge, to lawyers, to... it has a very wide selection of people that do like female impersonating.
My first guest did a movie about 3 years ago called Terror Train, in which he played the part of a murderer, okay? But he's not really a murderer, he's a pussycat, okay? And his real name is actually, he's an actor by the name of Derek McKinnon. But tonight he's going to show you another side of himself, okay? It's called the female side. I have another word for it, it's called wolf, wolf, but that's besides the point. Mesdames et messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, Alicia Ali. Now it's time to applaud. Very able.
I've seen you here before, so if you can't get satisfaction, I'm gonna let you see some action. Ooh, the dances that I do them just for you, 'cause you're the main.
Not only do we perform on stage, but we also have to perform off stage. And the more drinks that we can hustle, you know, for the barmaid, they get more tips, the bar makes more money. The reason why you're hired is because if you have a lot of friends, they will come in to the bar to see you. So what you're trying to do is establish a clientele of your own, kind of like a hairdresser, if you know what I mean. If they think you're pretty and you're nice and you're, you know, and all this, and willing, which is a little trick that we do. We want everyone to think that you're the most wonderful person, that you're pretty, and that, you know, they have a chance with you. And that means they buy more drinks. And the barmaid makes more money. And, you know, you get your audience. Okay, so you help each other out. But the law stipulating that if I sat there and was talking to a customer for more than 15 minutes, okay, it's a 15-minute law. Can you believe this? That if I sat with one customer for 15 minutes, I could be charged with soliciting. So I have to get up every 15 minutes and move all around the bar. And I'm not saying that you have to prostitute yourself sexually or whatever. They just want you to sit there, talk to you, because you more or less emphasize the female, what a woman should look like or what she should be. And that is with the glitter, the glamour, the hair, the makeup. Most women normally, you know, if you see them day to day, it's kind of interesting because they don't go and bother with their hair. They don't dress, you know, in a nice outfit all the time. These guys want a little more fantasy in their lives, and that's what we personify. Our hair is constantly done, the jewelry, the makeup, the clothes. It's quite important. So when you have all of that put together, you've got some guy's fantasy happening right in front of you. Not just on stage, but I'm talking in between shows. Okay, so the show's over, we're about to have a good time. And you usually meet somebody in the bar that could be a lot of fun. So I met this person who came up and said, look, I've got a room at the and a bottle of champagne with your name on it. Would you like to go and share it? So I said, sure, you know, not knowing. So anyway, we did arrive at the can you picture it, you know, like the dress, the whole bit. Nobody said boo when we walked in that crowd. We had a really nice time, you know, drank the champagne. And I opted to spend the evening. I had totally forgotten I didn't bring my base with me or the rest of my makeup. Now, picture it, I have no men's clothes. Okay, now how am I going to walk out of the you know, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? Okay, like this. So all I had to do, okay, I had to wait until the afternoon, call my wife to be able to bring my clothes down. Now picture it, here's my wife. I'm in the with some strange person, and my wife is bringing my clothes to me, so I can be able to leave as a guy. We're talking strange here, and that takes a very good person to be able to understand all of that, but we did it. Hey, you hear this? That's my diet pig. You fine? Shut up now. The only way it works is to shut him up. Is that other light? Anyway, my wife and I have a really good situation happening. You know, she's really something. She's probably the only person who really quite understands what I'm doing. She's a lot of fun. We can exchange clothes. You know, she helps me buy my clothing, my shoes, my wigs. She's kind of like an excuse to a certain extent for me, you know. And she's a little, well, we can't wear the same size all the time, but I can definitely get into her clothes and she can get into mine. We have a very good relationship that way, and she's very understanding for being married, for somebody to do my type of job. Can you imagine being married to a guy that's a female impersonator, and, you know, we go out to dinner and somebody will say, you know, Derek, what do you do for a living? And, you know, most of the time I have to say I'm an actor because I am an actor, basically. But if they really want to get down into my life and I have to say, well, I actually perform on stage as a female, they just kind of take a look at her and go, oh my God, what are you married to?
Well,
Okay.
what about this?
Oh, come on, Jeannie, look. That would get all entangled in the skirt, and it doesn't hold the
Okay,
crotch.
here.
Look. Well, take this though. I want this.
Okay, I'll take this and look.
Jeannie, I'd have to wear pasties with you. All right, all right. What size is it? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on a second. Kenny Hampson is the murderer, then to play the female part as the magician's assistant. And I'm playing a male character, but the way I get on this train is as a female. When I'm a guy through this picture, I'm very, very rotten and disgusting and everything else. The female, I'm always smiling and nice and kind of ditzy. We were going out to dinner that night, and Dad was sitting, you know, not 10 feet away from us reading the paper, you know, and Mom and I were getting dressed. You know, we had taken our showers and did our hair and that. And as per usual, you know, like Mom likes to sit at the table with her makeup mirror, and, you know, I had mine at the other end. Now, to see mother and son do this, it's very strange, you know. Anyway, Dad, I guess, is used to it by now or whatever. And anyway, Mom and I were talking, you know, just chit-chatting like nothing. And just out of the blue, Mom says, you know, sweetheart, you wouldn't happen to have a black bra, would you? And I said, sure, Ma, no problem. It's, you know, third drawer down, you know, on the left-hand side in my bedroom. Go ahead and get it. Meanwhile, Dad is more or less, you know, he's got the paper like this, and the paper just kind of flips over, and he looks at us like, you know, and he flips the paper back, and there's something wonderful about a situation like that, because I think you can see some kind of an acceptance, and especially from where I come from, you know, the very small town in Nova Scotia. And Dad's job, you know, he's a high-ranking official in the military at that time. And, you know, his men demand, you know, Dad demands quite a bit of respect from his men. And his own kid to do this, I guess maybe with a bit of, a little bit of an embarrassment. But Dad has been wonderful through it all, through both my parents. I always thought that he would be the one that I hurt the most. And the ironic part is I didn't. Dad accepts. As he once said to my mother, he made his bed, he'll lie in it, Peggy. And that's basically it. And Mom, on the other hand, who I thought would be more warm about it, and whatever decision I want to make in my life would be mine, she wasn't that way. It hurt my mom more, which I thought was rather strange, because I was so close to her, you know, as a son and mother. Because I guess mothers always know.
There was one, she used to do Diane Dufresne, and at one point she was so loaded that she came on stage and sat in front of the mirror. And I had literally get off my stool, go on stage, and turn her around and say, there's the audience. I didn't know, some of them, you don't know if it's a pill or an act that you're introducing. They're gone, but not all of them. It was for the first gay outdoors festivities that were held in Dominion Square Park. I was the MC for that. They asked me to be the MC. They always asked me to be the MC. They never have any money, but they always asked me to be the MC. And I went, and there was a fan of mine that was in the audience that I met at a club on St. Lawrence Street. I can't remember the name now. It's closed. And we got home, and he was on Downers or something, and I was on something else, and we just carried on, and it was a passionate kiss that turned out to cut half of my tongue off. And I was very lucky. It was an accident. It was nothing against my person or anything like that. It was just a hot kiss. What can I tell you? The Bellevue Tavern is all male. When they have a big party, they'll let in some of the female performers. But besides that, they're not allowed in. Women are not allowed in. It's not the owners in as much as the clientele itself. It's a gay place, and they don't even allow gay women in. It's a place for just gay men. There's a few of those, not too many anymore. I find them passé. I like a mixed audience.
But nobody has guts like let's say the old girls, like these ones. They're the ones that paved the road for us. To see that things don't change when and there I'm with Babette, and he's got a wig for every color of the day. It's blue, red, yellow, green, whatever. If the suit matched, the hair matched.
We shouldn't laugh at each other, but unfortunately, it's very tacky. We have more jokes than you can possibly imagine, such as Babette. We call her the Benny Hill in drag. This girl could stop traffic. After many, many years of being pretty, something has to turn in on you. They see themselves as still beautiful. We have to carry on with them. Yes, you're still beautiful and you're wonderful, and they always try to give you their expertise. Bellevue is strictly male. I wouldn't say are women haters. They just don't appreciate them. They don't mind watching a show, like if you make a good Diana Ross or it's somebody that they know, that's all wonderful. But they prefer their comedy. It's a tavern, it's like they drink beer, they get totally drunk. It's a fun evening for them. As you notice, there's no big stage, the lighting isn't fantastic. There's certain people that the female impersonator constantly uses, only because of their music and because of their comedy value and their stage value. We overemphasize our characters, like Carol Channing. My walk with her is pigeon-toed. It's just so that my features stand out a lot more, and it's more emphasized so that you know who I'm doing.
Jill, you're the owner of the Bellevue Tavern. What time do you have for your personal love life?
I do have a lot of time in my personal love life. Even if I'm working, I still see my lover.
Do you integrate your lover with your work?
No, I have a special lover, so I cannot tell you what I can do with him. But I have spare times. I do cooking in my spare times. I do cleaning, I do washing. And I also have Chris Taylor living with me. So she does most of the thing in my house.
A living-in maid?
No, she's not a maid. She's a very good friend of mine. And I enjoy living with her very well. And with my lover too. And we get three of us together pretty well. He has to leave me free for my business. That is understood. And I have to leave him free for whatever he wants to do. And he's always busy on Sunday until 5 or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And then we get together after 7 o'clock and we go and have dinner together alone every Sunday. That is our day off together.
And you, Babette?
My, and you, Babette. That is a good question. I'm a person, when I don't work, I like to relax home. Look the TV. I read very much. And I read many things can help me, you know. Because one day, what you said before, I'm gonna write a book, I'm short. And I think I try put some idea what I want to do with if I write the book. That's for the lover. For me, the lover is forget it. I like better have 1 hour, one lover, one time, a while, and die, because I'm not the person live with somebody, with a lover.
You'll have fast food and then it's finished.
Fast food, that's right. You said the right words, because I live with somebody, not lover, nice friend, like Latun, my waiter, she work here. And I got my busboy, Gigi. Gigi for me is like my son. He's 9 years, he stay with me. We have no relation at all. I love like really my son of me because I'm not married. And for me, that guy is big in my heart. For the lover, everybody can have a lover. You want it, and not stay with me. We do what we're supposed to do. After the job's finished, bye. Because I'm not the person said, where you going, what time you gotta be back, what you do, where you going. I can accept that. Okay, if you stay alone, you do what you want. If you want to go out for supper, you go supper. If you want a good movie, nobody asks me where you go, Babette. That I can take that. Because I don't ask nobody that. And I never leave with somebody. I like one time of my life, finish no more. I got a wonderful mother. She understood me very well. She never said nothing. She never tried to put the little bitch on the work I do. She accept everybody. My family is open, you know, very open. I got my nephew and niece, come very all 18, 19, and he respect Uncle Babette.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
What can I do to help you?
I'm looking for a pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for a special show. And, well, they're for me.
A lady shoe for you.
Yes.
Why not a man shoe?
Because I'll be dressed up as a woman, that's why.
That's okay.
And what size would it be for my foot?
But it depends what size man you take.
I take about size 9.
Yes.
9.
Roughly, it's 2 size to 2.5 size bigger, so it'd be about 11.
Do you have a pair available?
Sure, with pleasure.
Could I see one? Sure. Thank you.
Oh, it doesn't matter, but we'll try. I have the right in my hand.
Okay.
You seem to have good feet.
Yeah.
No corns, no callus.
No, none whatsoever.
You're a lucky man. I don't usually try woman shoe to men.
Well, it's for a very special show.
Oh, yeah? Well, you try.
There won't be a it won't be the same
I hope.
socks.
Nylons,
Yeah, mesh.
Otherwise, you're going to have
Mesh.
bunions and corns. Will you,
Okay.
will you walk for a living?
All right.
Sure, it's pretty, it's pretty good. I sold a pair like this 5-6 years ago to a man who took size 12.
Well,
Did they hurt you?
no, not at all.
No? No pain, no wear.
No pain whatsoever.
That's good. Can we wrap it up?
Please do.
You surely like it?
Yes.
You tell your friends we have big size.
Okay, I will.
That's a little girl.
I'll tell Gilda.
Oh, would be a thrill for me.
Yes.
What else can we show you?
That's all for now.
That's all.
Yeah.
We have ladies' wear upstairs if you need any.
No, thank you. I have. She is, without any doubt, the finest female impersonator in Canada or anywhere else in the world. She ranks among the tops.
I sketch the costume, I sketch the scenery, I write the dialogue, I put on the stage, and I play. I'm a little genius. I was the first to play for a king performance for the King Farouk in Egypt. I was the first in America to be on a genuine stage in the Latin Quarter. I was the first in Las Vegas. I was the first in Italy to walk in the same city with the Pope in Rome. I was an actor, and one day they need a woman to be slapped by a man who have something arthritis or something in the hand, you know, and it was very difficult to bluff. He really have to slap her. So they searched a woman to accept to be slapped, and nobody wanted to do it. And they came to me, and after a long discussion, money-wise, I accept to be slapped. And for the fun of it, I do the makeup of the star that is supposed to take the place. And it was so amusing for the cast that a few months later, they have another actress who's supposed to fall down from a horse, and they asked me to do it. And little by little, I became a stunt woman in a studio at La Victorine in Nice, in the south of France, that during the war. And one day, it was a movie where they really need a female impersonator called La Femme Coupée en Morceaux. And they remember me. They asked me if I was able to play as an actor. I said, try me, and I get the part. And without knowing it, my career was born. I think I'm the only one who became famous by himself without trying to impersonate somebody special. I never get the idea to make a career by lip-sync somebody else. In my time, that was taboo. But it was fun. For certain stars, if you do the impersonation of Barbara Streisand and sing like a frog, you know, that don't go. So the voice is very important. For some numbers, but 100% lip-sync, I'm against it. Because the artists don't develop the possibility, because a lot of them have the possibility or to sing or to dance or to act, but they hide on the back of these damn records, and they never know what they're able to do. And I think the people, the crowd is a little tired of it. It's too easy. The biggest thrill I get in my business was to be ugly. I was so fed up to be pretty. But be ugly, you feel so good. You can do anything. I close all the door, the curtain and everything, and I go on vacation in Acapulco, where the family have a big house. And then I meet Florette there, who was in vacation too, and we became very good friends. But he was no idea of marriage or anything. First, in my age, I was not thinking a second that a woman be interested in me anymore. And she have a very bad experience in her lifetime too, and she didn't want to know anything about men. So we became very good friends, and little by little, one day we wake up in my bed and we say, maybe we have to do something about it, you know? See, why we don't get married, just for the fun of it.
I'm washing my hair. I'll be over in a minute, okay? My real name is Jean-Pierre Fortin, and I'm 27 years old. My working name is Black Emmanuel Summers. Black Emmanuel, you've seen the movie? I liked the name, and I thought she was absolutely gorgeous. And Summers came through the years because I used to impersonate Donna Summers. I have the show at 7 o'clock to do tonight. 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11:15, 1 o'clock, and 4 o'clock in the morning. I was about 16, 17 years old. I used to watch female impersonator perform and used to get a kick out of it. And one Halloween, I got friends with one, and they dressed me up, and everybody said I looked good, and I kept on doing it ever since. You know, it's been almost 11 years now. My childhood was very confusing. I was in foster homes, and plus I was colored, and I realized I was gay at a very young age. So that brought a lot of conflicts and stuff, you know, so I just left. When I'm on stage and people look at me and people compliment me about the way I look or the number I did or what I'm wearing, you know, and I don't know, I like it. You know, it's like a self-confidence that I have in myself when I'm on stage that I don't have maybe otherwise, you know? Don't just put on a dress, put on a wig, and go on and carry on. You have to do whatever you're doing well. The transformation from a man to a woman and on stage, you don't feel the same. All the other female impersonators, they always have the same thing. They either have a guy that all in love with the image or the person, not both at the same time. I haven't met one yet, because if I did, probably I would still be with him. You find a lot of people are a little maybe kinky. I don't know. Maybe it's not really their taste, but maybe out of curiosity of how, you know, she's so beautiful, you know, it can't be a man, it just can't be. Even if they know deep down it is, they get turned on. There's the femininity of the person that turns them on. And a lot of the guys that I know, they love the femininity in Black Emmanuel, but they don't like the masculinity in Jean-Pierre. So there's always a conflict in between the two. This guy says, I don't believe you're a guy. I says, well, I am. Why would I lie to you? You know, he says, prove it to me, prove it to me. He says, well, how, you know, what am I gonna do? You want me to stick it out right there? I says, yes, I'll give you $50. I said, I don't believe you're a guy, right? And I even opened my blouse and showed him that it didn't have no breast or nothing, and he still wouldn't catch on, you know? So that's exactly what I did. I pulled up my skirt, I untucked it, I put it right in front of his thing, and he says, well, but I still went with him. But I couldn't see myself as a woman 24 hours a day. And plus, I would lose the art of the real meaning of travesty, you know, the transformation. I'm a man, and my work is a female impersonator, so I'm a woman and I'm a man. I like to be both, but I couldn't be a woman all the time. I just couldn't handle it. It's too much work, too much trouble, you know. For the prostitution, I can't say that I'm for it, and I can't say that I'm against it, because I've done it myself. And from my point of view, I look at it as a very quick way of making money if you really need it. You know, and that's the only time I would do it, if I really, really needed it, you know. And I don't know, I wouldn't be able to be there as my standard of living. You know, I just take it as a pastime. You know, it's not all that bad, but I wouldn't go on the street and freeze my butt out there, you know. But if it comes along, you know, this guy offers me whatever not, you know, and he's not that bad looking or whatever, no, I'm not saying, you know, I won't be a liar, and I'm not gonna say no, you know, of course I'm gonna go for it. It's like a refined specialty. If they offer me $100 or $150, then that really makes me think, well, you know, it's $50. It's like, sure, why not? And he's cute too, of course. And he's got everything else to do with it, you know, and the trips. Oh, of course not. Why not? If a young kid would like to become a female impersonator, what kind of advice I would tell him is to be original in what he does. You have to be different than anybody else. Because if it's, oh, it's the same, you have to have an act that would make your name.
She performs in Fire Island, like I said, in New York, in Florida, and once in a while in Montreal. Since Renée Lévesque is gone, maybe we'll have her more often. Mesdames et messieurs, accueillons ensemble Candy Stephen in her electrifying dance number. Now I'd like to hear some applause.
I used to dance as a male go-go dancer with the James Brown group. I've always wanted to dress in action drag, so there was no problem with that. I had to make a choice if it was going to be something part-time or full-time. So I decided to make it full-time, but still knowing reality that I'm still a male also. Well, when I was a kid, I really didn't have time to worry about drags. I was worrying about my mother getting on my case about my subjects, and I promised my family that I would finish high school. I went 2 years of college, and then I just got bored working in the office, and on the weekends was when I used to put on all my little dresses. Everywhere I went, people used to stop to watch me dance. So I said, well, maybe I'm in the wrong business. As the years went on, I started taking the hormones. I don't want to have the complete operation. I like just being a female impersonator. If I decide that I don't want to have the breast again, I can always have a reduction. My personal opinion, to have a sex change is a waste of money because you cannot lay down and have a baby. Until they do that, then I'll do so. But $8,000 is a waste. You know, I could buy a car.
All through history in the theater, the Kabuki theater, all the female roles were held by men. In Shakespeare, you have it in ballet, where the female character roles are danced by male dancers.
My name is Snatch Taylor, and I'm co-artistic director of Le Ballet Trocadero de Monte Carlo. I also dance with them both as a male and as a ballerina. It's an all-male satirical ballet company, which really doesn't tell you what we do, but that's what we are. It's a company of all men that does satire and parodies of classical ballet and all forms of dance, modern dancing, jazz dancing. We've done Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers numbers, things like that. Everything, nothing is sacred. We do it all. The company really doesn't do female impersonation. We do caricatures. After a while being in the company, you develop a caricature, a persona that you become. She has a look, she has a style of dancing, she has a personality. We make no attempt to confuse the audience that we are men. We don't shave our chests. If we've got a hairy ballerina with a hairy chest or hairy armpits, it stays there. We're not trying to confuse the audience that we're being women or that we are actually women or ballerinas. We want them to know we're men doing parodies and satires of dance forms. In the beginning, a lot of people thought we were going to be a wonderful gay drag show and do something for the gay movement and be a political outlet for the gay movement, and we're not. We're just an ordinary old dance company, you know. And I think in the beginning it turned a lot of the gay world off because they thought we were going to have this, you know, they were going to have this wonderful voice through us and women's lib and all this, and we aren't. We aren't political. We're, you know, we're strictly a dance company. I remember when I went home, my brother's little daughter was looking at pictures of me, and my brother said, "This is Tio Nacho. This is your Uncle Natch." And she went, "Mm-mm, that's not Uncle Natch. I know what he looks like. That's not him." But now they come to see the show all the time, And it's funny because a lot of when we have new people in the company, and we go to their hometown and the family comes, you can see the apprehension about the first time, the parents are going to see their son dancing as a ballerina. But by and large, every family, every parent has come backstage just raving because it's not a drag show. They get, okay, the first shot of their son in a tutu I'm sure it's very shocking. Of course, probably don't really recognize which one he is. But you lose all that. Once you've had that first shock of seeing a guy in a tutu, that shock value is gone. And you watch the dancing, and you watch the humor, and you watch what's going on stage. And you really, in a sense, forget that they're men. My teddy bear came, I got it for Christmas it'll be 3 years ago now. I had read an article in some magazine about how teddy bears were becoming the rage, and I realized that the teddy bears that I had as I was a kid had, gone the way of most teddy bears when you're a child. And I said, it's time I had another teddy bear. And so it keeps me company on tour. It goes everywhere with me. And it's just a companion. Sits in the hotel room, gets crammed in suitcases. But it's always there. It's kind of like a security blanket. It's a little bit of a home that you can take with you, and you know everything's okay.
Early morning, the dew just shines. Walk on the dust of yesterday's mind between the lines. The place we hide, naked and hungry. It's hard to survive, and nobody wins once the battle begins. Get on over.
And some friend of mine, they give me a nice present. They told me that thing looked like me. One more drink, this is it, I got it. That's a nice souvenir, and that's the only one I got from some friend because I don't keep souvenir. I can stand it. And that's my bar that I enjoy myself. Even if I am by myself, sometimes I got my Twiggy. We have a drink together. He's the only one who can stay on his leg. Me, sometimes I go on my knee, but nobody's perfect.
Welfare morning, a jazz warning. The eve of Jesus gets the blues. And half-filled coffee, exactly stories about how Jesus gets the blues. Senators and diplomats and Marilyn Monroe hats. The eve of Jesus gets the blues.
My name is Armand Monroe. I was a stage manager at the Bellevue Casino 25 years ago. And I've been working with a lot of artists, dressing those girls, going to New York many times to buy a special brassiere because they need push-up. And Montreal those days, we didn't have no brassiere push-up. So I used to go to New York and buy those brassiere and have lots of trouble when I come back and pass the duty. I worked with Liberace. That was very pleasant to work with him because he was very human. Of course, he was a little bit exigent. When he wants something, he wants it. After all, he was the star, so, you got to ask for anything. And me, I was, very gentle with him, and I have a marvelous time with him. I used to rent some hall and do some masquerade parties. And all the boys who used to come, they dressed up the way they like it. And we used to have a fabulous time. Today, we don't need to rent some hall because they do have all the hall they need. But those days was very complicated. We need a special permit and we need protection from the cop because those days was not exactly legal. That's still not exactly legal, but those days was worse. Those party I was organized, they were gay party, and 3/4 of the guy who used to dress up, they used to dress, like a female impersonator or, comedian or any kind of costume they like to, like some arrive in Marie Antoinette, and, that's the funniest bit. Like myself, I dressed up as Baby Papillon. And Baby Papillon was, an old lady. Well, she was not that old, but she was a very fat lady, and she had a few kids, and she received not enough money from the city to survive. So she decided to do a striptease on nightclub. And imagine a woman with 300 pounds of skin and shake it in front of the public and the nude was an attraction to see. So everybody was fighting to see Baby Papillon. And me, I find that so original that I decided to drive. I'm short and fat, so I put some artificial boobies and bellies and ass, and I make myself Baby Papillon. One year, I decided to go on Europe for 3 months and a half. And what happened, that's I tell another guy, another friend of mine, to take over. But he didn't have the right permit. And he make a masquerade party, and he was raided. So all the cop arrests, all those gay boys, dressed up as anything you want, they got it on their body. I used to work in a market in Quebec City, and I used to sell vegetables with a farmer there. The first time I dressed up, I was 19 years old. This is me, 1948, 49, when I started to do those masquerade parties. That was a top coat that I put on top of the big dress. This is the dress, the Marie Antoinette dresses that I was very popular to receive my guests with. That was one of my last costume that I dressed as a real elegant lady. After that, I always dress funny, and I can afford to dress as a real elegant lady no more because I look at myself in the mirror, and when you got 5 chin, I can wear 3 kind of brassiere. So that's why I dressed up as a comedian now. They always ask me to dress up as funny when I go to Miami. I make them a surprise. I come on the beach in Miami, dressed up as we dressed up in Montreal in winter time. I never see so many people around me to take picture of my long underwear. Now I'm 58. I retired since 3 years. And the only thing I'm interested on now, that's, to go to movie, go to see Broadway shows, go to Place des Arts to see dancers, singers, and I follow all of this. And, I enjoy myself because I like the tavern, but if I go to tavern, I drink a lot, and, it's no good for me no more because, I got to watch a little bit of what I'm drinking, what I'm eating. And the theater is more of my life than anything else, and I got all the time for it. And when I get fed up, well, I take some money and I go to pass 5 days in New York, and I come back with nice 5 to 8 Broadway shows on my mind, and I enjoy every minute of it. Like now, like I told you, I'm going to start to travel again because since 2 years I was very quiet. I didn't travel because, it's difficult to travel, especially to find a friend to go with you. Some they can have no vacations, some they don't have money. So and travel by yourself. I passed 3 months and a half in Europe by myself, and believe me, that was tough because I see so many nice things, and I would have loved to enjoy it with some friend, but there was nobody around me.
A little hot. Yeah. A little hot. That's much better.
Ah, feels good.
I do the makeup.
I just love the way you did my hair the other day. It was really great. Everybody told me you really liked mine.
I cut your hair very short, man.
Yeah, you just do that, sweetheart.
Easy, dear.
Watch it.
One of the best parts, huh? Having your head in the sun.
There we go. Yes, my dear.
Yeah.
I'm tired of talking to you, Yvonne. I mean, what are we going to do about this one over here?
I'm gonna put my eyelashes on. Armand,
What?
you're gonna put my eyelashes on.
Yeah?
Yeah. My name is Yvonne, and my profession is hairdressing. I've been doing female impersonating for a year and a half.
Wow.
I do my own makeup and my costumes. I do it as a hobby. I never got paid for it.
Early morning, the dew just shines. Walk on the dust of yesterday's mind between the lines. The place we hide, naked and hungry. It's hard to survive, and nobody wins once the battle begins. Get on over the wall again. Silence is the song of the gods. Patience lives in a place for
D'aller chercher les steaks et puis les mettre sur
oui,
le
on va
bêcher.
oui.
Parce que les
On va
patates
prendre
vont
les
être
steaks
trop
en
cuites, là.
Oui.
Et puis là, j'aurai juste à faire ma salade et puis tout va être prêt. On va pouvoir manger.
Tes patates, avec quoi tu les fais?
Du sel, du poivre puis du beurre. Armand m'a dit que c'est ça qu'il aimait. Il aime pas la crème
oui?
sûre.
Ah,
Hein? Fait
que
ça va
d'habitude,
être
avec
bon.
de la crème sûre,
Ben,
c'est
j'en
bon.
ai de la crème sûre, mais...
Ah oui? Oh là là, tu ne vais pas la présenter. Ah. Puis une bonne salade.
Sont trop cuites!
Brasse puis brasse, hein?
Bon, sont corrects, là. OK, c'est parfait.
Le
Ouais,
pays est bon?
juste les... Oui, c'est ça. OK? Bon. On va juste rester capable de cuire.
Tu peux pas faire plus mon canard?
Ben oui, je vais te le faire cuire ton canard. Tiens, je vais te le mettre dessus comme ça. OK?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yes, better like that. I don't want to look like an old
It's
lady.
very expensive for you today.
Think so? Oh, very nice, Gaetan.
Me or you?
Very busy today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You like?
Yeah.
He does a better job than
Everything
Yes.
is
Very nice.
Well, Joanne used to be a female impersonator until she decided that she wanted to have a complete sex change. She was a dancer. She had her sex change 3 years ago. She hasn't really decided what she's going to do with her career as of now.
What I mean?
Well, I mean, I put on a dress one day and I said, you know, this is great. You know, at first it started as sort of a thrill thing, and then I liked it. You know, I was happy, I was comfortable like that, and I said, well, I could do a little bit more and a little bit more, and before I knew what I was doing, I was living that way. But I came to Montreal because I wanted to do that. You know, when I decided that it was going to become a permanent thing, that's why I came here, because for the doctors and things like that, they didn't have it out west. It's hard to explain, you know, because I don't think you really ever know, you know, exactly what other people are thinking. You have to sort of look at their eyes. And I'll tell you one thing that my dad said to me. This was after I'd had my operation. I went back for a visit. He said, "You're more of a real person now." He said, "You seem to have come out." He accepts it. My mother, no. The operation itself cost $5,000. That was without the hospital. Well, the hospital bills were taken care of by Medicare in Quebec, but the doctor's fee itself was $5,000. You go to the doctor who performs the operation, and he refers you to the various doctors that you have to see. You have to be on hormone therapy for 3 years, which means living as a woman 24 hours a day and being on hormone therapy, which, you develop breasts, and you have to be 21 years old. Well, I don't know, different ways, I guess. I don't know how all the girls do it. I mean, I paid for it with prostitution. But when I had my operation, it was cheaper. It was $5,000 at that time, and a third of it was reimbursed by the government afterwards. About a year later, it would be returned. But as far as the hormone treatments and the psychiatrists and any medical doctors that you had to see with reference to the operation, it was all paid by Medicare. Because in Quebec at that time, it was considered to be a medical problem, which was covered on the Medicare plan. And it comes to about $15,000 now.
6 hours for the main operation. And then the recuperating time.
10 days in the hospital, and then you're released, and there's about 2 months that you have to stay in your apartment because it's difficult to walk, and there's a lot of pressure, so you have to stay off your feet a lot of the time. You begin sex 8 to 10 weeks after the operation, and it's suggested that you do have an active sex life while you're healing because it keeps the vaginal cavities open. I came to Montreal specifically for that because there was a doctor here. He had a good reputation. I came with, I think, 4 or 5 others the same week, and there was about 20 other girls that I can think of from Vancouver that came shortly thereafter, and Toronto, Calgary, wherever.
There's a thing, prothèse?
Prothèse.
That you have to use. Do you use it always, or is it just a certain amount of
No,
time?
it was just during the healing process. It's just basically an artificial penis is what it is.
I see, yeah.
And you insert it into the vagina, and you leave it there while it's healing, because if you don't wear it, it will close up. Now, there are cases in New York where a man can go into the clinic, pay the amount of money asked, and come out a woman. Transsexuals do that all the time in the States. They will save their money working as men, and then they will go in and have the operation.
When I was 17, I went to a club called Jaggers with a girl who put eyeliner on me before we went into the club. And I thought, okay, this looks all right. Since then, I've been to a few other places with some friends, and before we went out, they would put makeup on me too. And it got to be a way of attracting attention to myself. It was really never a sexual thing. It was always just another way of attracting attention to yourself. I didn't wear very much makeup while I was in Europe over the past year. But I remember being in the pub one night. I was on my way to the bar to get a drink, and this guy says, excuse me, have you met my friend Charles? And I lifted up my hair. I don't think he could tell if I was male or female until I looked at him, and I said, no, Charles, are you buying me a drink? And at that point, he realized he just picked up a ski bum instead of a ski bitch.
People have always thought I was a little girl on the street. Let's go play with the little girl, blah, 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 blah. Old men have approached me wanting to play with the little girl. It started way back then. It used to bother me all the time until I started to be in theater, and then it started to work for me because I can be androgynous.
I think we're going to Sarah's party.
Yeah, sorry.
You guys don't understand.
Boys are talking to you.
I like the shoes. You don't understand. We don't like
My mother gave me those shoes.
We don't like women.
You saw they showed me last week. They must be mine.
Don't get
That's
smart.
right. What are friends
That's
for?
right. Hey, don't get smart.
We
now.
don't
Let's
like
go.
fuck you.
No, you guys just get out of here, man.
Stick down, man. Stick down. You gotta fucking say that. Fucking bastard! Don't fuck with us! You fucking understand? Fucking bastard! That's what you fucking get when you fuck with us! You fucker!
There was once I was at a convention and there was only a woman's washroom, and I was a usher, and I was in a tuxedo, and it was really wild. And I'll show you why I went like this. I really needed to go to the bathroom, So I pulled this. And I went in and there was no questions asked, and I was wearing a tuxedo suit.
You keep complaining that you're not conventionally beautiful. And I laugh thinking I'd rather admire you than some conventional ideal. Beautiful eyes, beautiful nose, beautiful lips. Beautiful you, shame on those who made you doubt your unique beauty. Now I'm not claiming it's bad to read magazines. Under all that gloss, you just might find something good to read. Beautiful eyes, beautiful nose, beautiful lips. Beautiful you, shame on those who made you doubt your unique beauty. Yet no reflection in the mirror's gonna change the image in your brain. Beautiful eyes, beautiful nose, beautiful lips. Beautiful you, shame on those who made you doubt your unique beauty. Shame on those who made you doubt your unique beauty. Shame on those who made you doubt your unique beauty.
There's a particular attraction. I only live for this peculiar distraction. It's never clear.